All right, how y'all doing? The Dallas Mavericks managed to win this game going away. They won it in pretty much the first quarter. It was a legendary performance, not an individual performance to hold your head to. It wasn't the Luka show, it wasn't the Kyrie show. It was a complete team performance. Just to put this into context, so many stats that are just boggling my mind right now. Luka Doncic went 0 for 8 from 3. If I had told you that Luka Doncic would go 0 for 8 from 3 and that Kyrie Irving would go 1 for 6 from 3, would you believe me that the Dallas Mavericks even won this game? Now, do you know how badly they won this game? Let me put this into context. At one point, the lead was 48 or 47. No, 48. It was a 48-point lead in the fourth quarter. That is the largest differential in NBA Finals history. With 1 minute to go in the fourth quarter, 1 minute and 12 seconds to go, Markieff Morris hit a three-pointer to push the lead to 42. Had that lead stood at 42, it would have tied the worst loss in NBA Finals history, which was the Utah Jazz Game 3 versus the Chicago Bulls in 1998. This was an ass whooping from start to finish. So much so that Joe Mazzulla pulled his starters in the third quarter with 3 minutes to go in the third quarter. And thank God for Peyton Pritchard because he hit four key points down the stretch to avoid tying that history books. Everything went right for the Dallas Mavericks tonight. They won the battle of the glass handily. They won the battle in the paint. Remarkably, they won the battle of the assists. This is a team that is notorious for playing one-on-one isolation basketball, and tonight they won the battle of the assists. They won the battle on the offensive glass. They won the battle in transition. They won the battle of obviously the largest lead, one of the largest leads in NBA history. They also won the three-point battle, which is incredible because through games 1, 2, and 3, they have lost this three-point battle almost double. Okay, not only are the Celtics out attempting them, they are out making them from 3. They didn't shoot the ball well from the free throw line. They didn't shoot the ball remarkably well from 3. Obviously, some of the later, outpouring from Tim Hardaway would skew that a little bit more. Tim Hardaway Jr. turning into, Reggie Miller in garbage time was pretty incredible. But you look at this box score, and there's nothing that the Mavericks couldn't replicate 3 times over, right? This was incredible, right? And Kristaps Porzingis does not play. There was some mixed reporting prior to the game, whether he was going to play, whether he wasn't going to play. Well, he doesn't play this game. And I think that made a really big difference. And the Mavericks finally attacked the paint. Everybody attacked the paint. There were so many positive contributors tonight. I'm not even going to talk about who didn't play well for the Celtics, because frankly, nobody really played well for the Celtics. I mean, I guess you could say Sam Hauser played well for the Celtics, but that's about it. Everybody struggled for the Celtics. Drew Holiday, who hadn't turned the ball over, not once this entire series so far, 1 through 3 games, he had 0 turnovers. He had 4 turnovers in just against Luka tonight. 4 turnovers against just Luka. That's insanity. I'm definitely going to get a copyright for that little clip that ESPN showed there. My bad. Okay. We got Luka Doncic 12 for 26, including that wedgie right before he checked out of the game. I mean, Tim Hardaway Jr. going 5 for 7 from 3 really skews this. The Mavericks did not win this game because of hot shooting. They did not win this game because of offense. I mean, partially they won it because of force. I think they won it because they ran harder in transition. I think the unsung hero tonight is Derek Lively. He deserves so much credit. He was, in my opinion, probably the best player for the Dallas Mavericks tonight. Is that a stretch to say he was their best player? I mean, he came off the bench, hit a 3. I mean, who saw that coming? He hit a 3, and then he was just all over the place. He was a man possessed. He's getting to the front of the rim. He's blocking, he's impacting shots. He's changing shots at the rim. Did he get a block? He didn't get a single block tonight, man. It felt like he changed a whole bunch of shots. So I just thought he was incredible. Josh Green deserves so much credit. Dante Exum, so instrumental, including that 3 that they took away from him because his heel was out of bounds. But Josh Green was incredible. His impact. There was that one play. It's just so demoralizing, some of the things that the Dallas Mavericks were able to do tonight to the Boston Celtics. There was that one play where Jason Tatum and Drew Holiday just watching each other, and Josh Green just comes up and just puts the ball up as all the Celtics watch. And that's demoralizing. I did not like the body language from the Boston Celtics tonight. They did not conduct themselves like champions. I'm not going to jump all over them because of one game. They played a hell of a, playoff run so far. This was definitely the worst I've seen the Boston Celtics look all year. Jaylen Brown, some people's pick for finals MVP. He had a real, down to earth game tonight, a real humble pie game. 10 points, 10 points, 3 for 12 shooting, 1 for 5. He had 2 turnovers. It felt like more, man. Drew Holiday had 5. Jason Tatum had 3. I mean, their perimeter offensive players have gotten used to just getting whatever they want offensively. And tonight, the Dallas Mavericks just said, nope, no more. And what did Luka say after the game? We not losing no more. Like, we can't lose no more. Okay, well, now they're on red alert. They outshot 50 to 36% from the field. They outshot them by 6% from 3. They got to the line 9 more times. I mean, they had Scott Foster, the extender there, so that was going to happen. But trust me, tonight, nothing Scott Foster did made this, a Mavericks win. The Mavericks won this game handily. Okay, Scott Foster was just there just in case they couldn't do it, right? They win the turnover battle. They win the points conceded off of turnovers. They win the fast breaks. I mean, including that incredible fast break point, Luka Doncic sending it up to Daniel Gafford, I believe, for that alley oop. They had like 4, 5, 6 alley oops tonight. It was just incredible. The largest lead for the Boston Celtics tonight was 3, and it was in the first quarter. And after that, it was so dominant. The Mavericks did to the Boston Celtics what I don't think the Boston Celtics have done to anybody all playoffs long. I don't think the Boston Celtics have done this to anybody. And this happened to them. Now, I said it in the last game, in the last post game, closing out is hard. Closing out on the road, even harder. Okay, closing out after you're up 3-0, really hard. It's very rare to see a team go 4-0 in the finals, okay? So you can say this is like when Minnesota came back and won game 4 against Dallas. You could say, okay, well, it's happened. It's not going to change anything. But you know what? This is not like that. This is not like that because I'm telling you right now, I'm telling you as a person who's watched a lot of Dallas Mavericks during this playoff run and during the regular season, this team believes they can win 3 straight. I don't think that Minnesota team believed for a second they were going to win 4 straight against the Dallas Mavericks. This Dallas Mavericks team believes they're going to go into Boston and they're going to whoop the Celtics ass. Now, I'm telling you that I don't think that should be something that you consider likely, but it is absolutely possible. It is absolutely possible because, again, you still haven't gotten that massive Luka game. These are subpar Luka games. 27 points, 29 points, sub 50% from the field, 0 for 8 from 3. Uh, This is a suboptimal game and you're having historic outcomes. So what does that tell you? That tells you the Dallas Mavericks role players, at home at least, are capable of so much more, right? Now, what needs to happen for Dallas, to extend this series and bring it back to Dallas, right? To bring it back for game 6. I think the Celtics are going to be on red alert, man. I really do. I think this is a gut check moment, and I'm very, very curious to see how they're going to respond because all year, when they made that trade for Drew Holiday, I pretty much penciled them in as NBA champions. I was like, okay, this is it. And throughout the year, there were moments. The game against Detroit always comes to mind. There are other games as well, games against Indiana, where I just kind of had a second to pause, and I'm like, wait a second, does this team have the maturity, the requisite, togetherness to withstand a storm like this? Now, this is a storm. What's going to happen if you got a couple of people in the locker room, if you got a couple of players, especially a couple of star players who are a little bit, if they have rabbit ears a little bit, well, they're going to hear a lot of bullshit about themselves over the next, 72 hours, right? Because game 5 is Monday. So you got Saturday and Sunday. Damn, the 2 best days of the day of the whole week, and you got to hear about how you're washed. You got to hear about how you're trash, and that can be a very motivating thing. It can motivate you to come out and just stomp the Mavericks in Game 5. It's going to be very different because you're still not as desperate as they are. You're not going to ever be as desperate as they are ever, right? So at this point, for Joe Mazzulla and the Boston Celtics, I think there is a moment where you just have to look at this and just say, flush it, It was supposed to happen. We didn't hit our shots tonight, but we need to bring more energy in game 5. Like, we need to. We want to close it out at home. We're not going back to Dallas. We're not going back to Dallas in game 5. It's never going to happen. We're closing this shit out. It's nice they got one. Happy for their fans, but this is big boy time. This is business, and we gotta take care of this. Now, I really believe that Luka and Kyrie are about to put on a masterclass. I really do believe that. I believe your role players are supposed to get you one game. You know, your bench is supposed to get you one. Your role players get you one. Your star players get you two. Okay. Now, Luka and Kyrie, you got one from your role players tonight. I believe it was a collective effort, right? Sorry, you got one from your bench. Really, tonight it was Maxi Kleber. It was Dante Exum pushing the break. Your bench won you this game. In my opinion, your bench just frigging won you this game, right? Now you got to get a couple from your stars and a couple from your role players. You didn't get much from from Derrick Jones Jr. and PJ Washington and Daniel Gafford tonight. I think the three of them combined did not sum up 20 points. Where is your 28.73, game from PJ Washington? You need one of those, right? Where is your 45 piece from Luka where he just gets blazing hot from 3 and he just, we saw it against Minnesota, right? He just like throwing up Hail Marys from like, if Luka comes out on the road in game 5 and does a couple of those, like a couple of those 30-foot bombs, I mean, it's going to be very intimidating. And when you're on the road and you shut up that crowd, because look, man, I gotta be real. The Boston Celtics fans, they know this team. They know it. Okay. You talk to any person who covers the Celtics, they all have this fear that this team is. No wonder they're also sensitive when you talk about the Celtics, right? Because they're all very aware that the Boston Celtics are fully capable of imploding just this way. And if you think about this from that perspective, what happens if Boston comes out in the hole in the first quarter by 15 points again in game 5? Do they implode? Because this is a team, I'm telling you, the best indication or the best predictor of future behavior is past behavior. I tell you, every single time this team gets stuck on an island, they start trying to do it themselves. They don't respond to be principled. And that's why I was so shocked, during this playoff run, whenever they faced adversity, that they've been able to kind of come together. But I think this is the most adversity this team has faced literally the entire playoffs. Like, they did lose a stinker, yes, against Miami. They lost one against Cleveland, but it wasn't like this. They didn't get decimated like this, right? It was bad, but it wasn't this bad. Like, it was pretty bad, but it wasn't historic bad. So I think this is, going to be a close game. Game 5, I think it's going to be close. Whichever way it goes, it's going to be a coin toss. And I think it's going to come down to the stars. I think it's going to come down to the Jays, Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. And it's going to come down to Kyrie Irving vanquishing his demons, finally winning a game in Boston. He hasn't won one since he's been traded. It'll be nice to finally, cross that one off. Speaking of vanquishing demons, I just want to let you all know that this channel has 6.66 million views right now. So please, for God's sake, somebody view this channel like a lot, or go view some of our videos, because that number is freaking me out right now. Okay, let's get to Jason Tatum, and then we get to Luka Doncic.
D. Buckley from The Athletic. You guys were down 0-3 last year. Game 4, you had that big comeback. You had 25 points in the second half. So can you at least see?
This is what shell shock looked like. Because honestly, like, I love JT, but seriously, this game was not it for him tonight. He was frustrated. He was everything they accused Luka Doncic of being in game 4. Yeah, game 3, sorry.
Where they're coming from tonight, what their mindset was coming into this game, they're being down 0-3.
Absolutely. Like you said, a year ago this time we were down 0-3, and we're essentially fighting for our lives. So, very short answer, yeah, we understand what it's like, from their point of view, and they came out super aggressive. They, playing extremely fast and took more shots than we did. They were really concentrating on attacking the offensive glass. They got way more rebounds than we did. They played harder tonight, and obviously we didn't shoot the ball well at all. and it's something that we can learn from.
Front left, Jared.
Jared Weiss, The Athletic. You guys have talked in so many different metaphors about how hard it is to finish something off this year. You get to the first clinching game for a title of your career. How big of a challenge was it, and how hard was it to try to problem solve in real time and go through all those different things?
Yeah, I mean, to give them credit, they played well tonight, and we didn't. We had the right mindset and the right intentions, right? We wanted to come out and play super well and win, but it just didn't go that way tonight. But, we're fortunate we get another opportunity on Monday.
Over here on your right.
Hey Jason, Jack Simone, SB Nation. Jalen came in here and said, next time you're out there, you got to play like your life depends on it, because it does. You recently said in an interview, if you got back to this point, you would do whatever you needed to take to win. After a loss like this, I'm curious what your process is mentally of like absorbing it and moving on.
Yeah, just not to harp on it too much. Like it happened. We can't change what happened tonight. We always say you lose by 2 or you lose by 30. Right? They all count the same. But we do need to be better. We're not making any excuses. We need to be better, and we will. We will be better.
John, back left.
Jason, Joe talked about the Mavs kind of causing some indecision at the rim, kind of making you unsure of whether you should shoot or pass. What were they doing, and just what did you make of your teams and your decision-making in general tonight?
Yeah, I think we were I think this was the most stagnant that we've been this series. And the worst job of owning our space on the offensive end and doing what we wanted to do instead of what they were forcing us to do. And we did a great job of that the first 3 games, and this one we didn't.
Dan, here on the front right.
Dan Devine, Yahoo Sports. You guys have been getting up a ton of corner threes, generating a lot of those driving kick to the corner. Only got, I think, 6 of those tonight before garbage time. What were you seeing from them defensively in terms of the way they were closing out on those corners and shutting down those opportunities for you?
I think it starts on the defensive end for us. We didn't get many stops, so they were allowed to set their defense up. And just naturally, when you're scoring at a high rate, you feel good about yourself, your energy is higher, tend to probably play better defense. So it all starts on the defensive end. We just got to do a much better job.
Jalen, you guys seem to play decent for the first 6 minutes, and then just everything kind of went haywire. What happened out there? And in a closeout game, a game with such importance, why did you guys
Derek Lively, the second, happened.
just play so poorly?
I don't even know the answer.
2 last row in the corner.
Somebody else, next question.
John, back left.
Jalen, the first 3 games, the decision-making from you guys was pretty much like right on point. Seemed like this game, the decision-making was a little bit different. Was there something that changed that, or what did you see from that perspective?
Give credit to Dallas. I think they play hard physically, and then they dominated the glass. I think that was the key that put a lot of pressure on us, and then we didn't make shots tonight, and I think that's where we allowed them to play free. Once we did, we get them multiple opportunities to make shots, and then also we didn't hit shots on the other end. So we're going to look at the film and see where we can better, and we go from there.
When the zmerom ne bo in, I think especially on the defensive end, we played with pace, and that helps them. I'm here to help them, in every way I can. So we just got to play like that.
Luka, Dave McMenamin, ESPN. How does the outlook change now in the series that you have a win under your belt and you have a few more days of life headed to Boston?
I mean, it doesn't change anything. Like I said at the beginning of the series, it's first to 4, and we're gonna believe till the end. So we just gotta keep going. I have big belief in this team that we can do it. So we just gotta keep believing.
Tim Reynolds on the back.
Luka, Tim Reynolds with the AP. You've said all series about the belief that you have, that this team has. how much more satisfying is it? Number one, that people saw why that belief is there, but also this wasn't just you. You had a big first half, but you had a lot of guys do a lot of big things tonight. How critical is that for this group?
Yeah, it's big. It's basketball. There's 5 people on the floor, so that's huge for us. Everybody play with a lot of energy, and that's how we got to do it. We got to think the same way in Game 5 in Boston.
Over here on the left, Sarah.
Hey, Luka. Over the last 4 games, what's the biggest thing you learned about yourself and what it's going to take to continue to win on this stage?
I don't know what to learn from myself. Next day, I'll come up with the answer. I don't know really right now. But it's going to take everything. It's going to take energy, and especially energy. Because it's late in the season, we played a lot of games. So it's going to take, we got to stay together and locked in.
Here in the middle.
Luka, Robert Poredoš, Slovenska tiskovna agencija. Danes ste imeli v živo tudi podporo predsednika slovenske vlade. A ste se videla, ste se slišala, vam je povedal kaj koristnega?
Ja, na hitro. Pred tekmo sem mu pozdravil, tako da smo se videli.
Tanya on the left.
Luka, Tanya Ganguly, New York Times. Jason came in here before the game and gave sort of an impassioned defense of you. He said a lot of the criticism you've been receiving has become personal and is a little unfair. And I'm wondering, did he say any of that to you? And whether he did or not, what does it mean to you that he had your back like that?
No, he didn't say anything to me especially. But that speaks a lot about him. He always has our players back. He always supports us, so that's a big thing to have a coach like that.
First row here.
Daniel Schwartzman, Luka Televisa, habías dicho que la clave era divertirte. ¿Qué tanto te divertiste, lo disfrutaste y qué tan especial fue para ti esta noche?
Sí, muy especial. Creo que no solo yo me divertí mucho, sino todo el equipo. Todo el equipo estaba divirtiendo y eso es la clave para nuestros partidos adelante.
Right here on the left, fifth row.
Tu primer victoria en unas finales de la NBA, Luka, por acá. La afición sigue apoyando, sigue emocionada. ¿Cómo te sientes? Y también con visita especial Sergio Ramos en la casa esta noche. Gracias y buenas noches.
Sí, la gente estuvo estupenda hoy, en tercer partido también. Y significa mucho de que todavía creen en nosotros. Y la verdad que sí, ha sido un honor tener a Sergio aquí, una leyenda en madridismo, así que ha sido un honor muy grande.
On the right, Mike.
Luka, Mike Curtis, Dallas Morning News. Derek Lively had a very impactful game, a double-double. Just what did you see from him, just stepping up on the stage, and what did you think of that three-pointer he hit in the corner?
Big time, man. I think people forget he's a rookie. He's a rookie doing this stuff. He's been amazing the whole season. Just watching him grow was unbelievable. And it's fun having him out there with me and calling my teammate. It's unbelievable, and it's a pleasure to have him. And he's 50% of the season, so he might as well keep shooting.
Last round.
Giving us second opportunities or picking up a foul from getting the offensive rebound was needed, and I thought he did a really good job this evening.
Tim, sixth row.
Tim Cato, The Athletic. Jason, with you guys playing like this, is there, is your view of it that this version of this team could have come sooner? And what emotions accompany that? Is it frustration? Does it just have to be, kind of a looking forward and an ability to continue this?
Can you say that again? That was a long-ass question.
Fair enough. You guys played better tonight.
Yes.
You guys played much better in a lot of areas tonight. Why weren't you able to do it sooner, and how do you continue this?
Yeah, it's we had to play our A game. It was this or we go on vacation. So I thought the group did a great job of not pressing, letting the game happen. The flow was there. We've done this in the first 3 games. It's just we haven't been able to capitalize. We've made the mistakes, and they've capitalized on that. They shot the 3 well. We tried to keep them off the free throw line tonight. and not giving them second opportunities. So I thought they did a really good job of being able to execute the game plan and let the game come to us. We made some shots. Finally, our role players stepped up and made some threes, and that's what we needed tonight.
Mike Curtis, Dallas Morning News. Jason, Luka responded, obviously, tonight with 29 points. 25 of those came in the first half. Just what did you see from him and his temperament throughout the game and how he was able to get to the rim?
Yeah, I thought he was great. He's been great. Some would say differently, but he's averaging over 25 in this series, I think, and he's playing at a very high level. I don't know so much respond. He's been doing everything for us on the offensive end and defensive end, and I thought he played his game tonight. He didn't force anything. I thought his rebounding and being able to let other guys, with the pace, we talked about it, we got to play faster, and I thought he set the pace for us tonight.
Let's go, Jake.
Jake Fisher, Yahoo Sports. The two big lineup with Derek and Maxey, and then Josh Green in with Kai and Luka. What about that group tonight do you think was so effective on both sides of the floor?
Yeah, I thought they were great. It was carryover from Game 3. I thought the energy group there that ended in Game 3, that fourth quarter, I thought that group energy and pace on both ends. Defensively, we got stops, and then offensively, we got into the paint where we could capitalize. But I thought Josh's energy has been great. The defense, again, in this series has been really good. It's just for us, when it comes down to not making a mistake at the wrong time, and tonight we didn't do that. We capitalized on their mistakes.
Front row, Tim.
Tim McMahon, ESPN. Luka vowed that he wasn't going to be distracted by discussions with the officials and followed through on that a lot like he did Game 5 versus OKC. How do you think his demeanor and his focus set a tone?
I thought it was great. He was Luka. I mean, he's been Luka. He wasn't anybody different. Tonight there was not a different Luka out there. It was Luka. He played at a high level. He was great. He's been great. He's one of the best players in the world. And as much as we want to criticize, he's a hell of a player.
All the way in the back, Tim.
Jason, Tim Reynolds with the AP. You said before the game somebody was either going to make a stand or somebody was going to let go of the rope. Was there something you saw early that suggested that your guys had a stand in them tonight?
Yeah, to score. It's real simple. We don't have to complicate this. This isn't, surgery. Our group was ready to go. They were ready to celebrate and understand we made a stand. We were desperate, and we got to continue to keep playing that way. Understand they're trying to close the door. The hardest thing in this league is to close the door when you have a group that has nothing to lose. And so tonight you saw that, and they let go of the rope, pretty early.
Brad in the middle.
Jason, Brad Towns of Dallas Morning News. You mentioned Lively showing his range. I believe he'd only tried 2 threes this year. Is that actually something you drew up for him? He didn't show any hesitation.
No, he was in the right spot. He took it from there. He could shoot, and that's the next step for his development, is being able to shoot the three. He's young, but as a 20-year-old, he's grown up in the AAU circuit where he can't, in high school, he can shoot, he can handle. He would tell you he played point guard. So his ability to be able to bring the ball and being able to shoot the three is the next step for him. He has all the skill set, but right now for the role we need him to do is do what he did tonight: offensive rebound, change shots, and be able to guard.
And then when you look at you mentioned the bench players. I thought when Exum came in and hit those early shots, it was a big lift for you. What kind of psychological lift does that give the team when guys come off the bench and start making shots like that?
Yeah, that's who we've been all season. Exum has played, at a high level for us all season. He's been able to run the offense. He stepped up and made big shots for us to win. And then I thought tonight, even the one that he shot from out of bounds, that he made it. That could easily have changed his confidence, but I thought he was aggressive, while he was out on the floor, and he was great, and we're going to need that on the road.
Dorothy here in the middle.
Can you talk a little bit about the balanced scoring effort from your team? I think first half, all 9 players, everybody scored. So talk about the balanced scoring effort tonight.
Yeah, again, when you're desperate, the ball starts to move. Guys are not, overthinking it. And again, being able to make some threes tonight from our role players were huge. When you talk about D. Jones, Exum, and then D. Live, just understanding that's who we've been all season. We can shoot with the best of them, and tonight we displayed that.
Dave here on the left.
Jason, Dave McMahon with ESPN. How did desperation and urgency factor into your guys' overall performance tonight, especially defensively with 3 steals from Luka, chasing down, intercepting steal after missing a long shot? And how do you carry that over to Boston?
Yeah, I think, again, we have nothing to lose going to Boston. That mindset of being aggressive. And then to answer the first part of your question, Luka, as we know, can play defense. And you saw that tonight. Some of the criticism that he's had, here of late, for whatever reason, talked about his defense. And I think he stepped up and was there. And he knows in Boston he's going to be right back where, in the pick and roll. And so he's going to have to compete and play defense again.
Last question here on the left.
Right here, Coach Jason. Thank you for your time. Valencia King, Real Talk Sports out of Dallas. Of course, you're getting a lot of questions about Lively, and rightfully so, but we also got a chance to see Omax tonight. How would you describe his road and being ready for the moment during the finals?
Yeah, I thought everybody who participated today was ready, and I thought Omax, as a rookie coming off injury, I thought he did a good job getting his first minutes in the finals.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks.
All right. I got to say about this comment right here, Lively with a jump shot will be a top 7 center in the league. I'm going to say it one better. He's going to be a top 5 center regardless of the jump shot or not. I've seen this entire thing before. The Derek Lively, thing is very similar to, in my opinion, Joakim Noah. Now, if he can shoot and he's Joakim Noah, holy shit. He is so impressive. I cannot just stop gushing over this guy. I think he should have been a top 3 pick last year. Reflecting back on it, I really think I would take him number 2. I would take him number 2 after Wemby. I realize he's a center and all that stuff, but his fluidity, his numbers on when he switched on to perimeter players, his defensive activity, his maturity, his poise, his fluidity, and in the open court, his hip fluidity, some of his hand-eye coordination stuff, and now the shooting is coming up. We remember Hack a Lively that Mark Daigneault went to against OKC and how he responded to that, hitting clutch free throws down the stretch. I think he's been the 3rd best player. To be the 3rd best player on a team that legitimately has a chance to win an NBA title as a 20-year-old is it's rarefied air. It's like 20 people in NBA history that have done what he's done at his age. So I just think the people who don't understand basketball are going to look at him and say, okay, whatever, 12 points, 11 rebounds, whatever. It doesn't matter shit. But I don't think you realize who he's doing this against. And I don't think you realize how rare it is. Right. So, yeah, I'm firm on it. I would, I think he's worth 5 first-round picks. It's a bummer for me because obviously the Raptors don't make the Jakob Poeltl trade. You're probably right in position to draft him, and given the fact that you would still need a center, you would have drafted him. So it's just such a stupid thing when I think about Toronto Raptors, going forward. And a big part of why I keep pushing us, towards Yves Missi, and I'm not saying Yves Missi is Derek Lively. I'm just saying Yves Missi, Adam Bona, players of that ilk, they have the potential to at least do some of his stuff. It's a very valuable player type. And it is one that you win with in the NBA for sure. RK saying, would like us to pick up Furphy and Dadier before they're gone by 31. Here's the thing. You don't want to devote too many roster spots to guaranteed, especially on the guaranteed contract front. That's why 31 has so much value, because it's not guaranteed. You'll notice that 2nd-round picks don't get nearly as much rope as 1st-round picks. So consider a player like Malachi Flynn. With the 28th overall pick, you pick Malachi Flynn, and of course, you end up holding on to that guy for so long because And again, look at Precious Achiuwa. Now, are you really telling me Precious Achiuwa and Malachi Flynn are categorically different than Christian Koloko or Andrew Nemhard? Of course not. The only difference here is the flexibility of the contract in the early second round picks, right? Those early second round picks are super valuable. So the Raptors have a massive asset at 31. I do believe someone could fall down. I know when FA and I did the mock draft earlier, almost nobody fell to 31, but that's because we're drafting. The reality is some team is going to fall in love with a guy like Ulrich Comche, or some team is going to reach for some undrafted guy, or maybe Isaiah Crawford is going to go top 25 or something, and someone's going to get pushed down. Someone's going to have some concerns on medical. And the benefit for the Toronto Raptors is they have the first pick on the second day. So they have like, what was it, 17 or 18 hours, 18 hours or 19 hours to dangle that pick. And if there is like a legit player who fell, like, you know, if y'all remember the Rashard Lewis draft where Rashard Lewis fell and everyone's like trying to figure out why, if there's legitimately a player that's fallen out, whether that's Deron Holmes, whether that's Zach Edey, whoever it is, and people are struggling to figure out why, that extra buffer is going to be all the time you need. So it'd be a great, great opportunity. I think that 31st pick presents a lot of flexibility that the 25th and 24th picks do not. So while I understand from your perspective wanting to kind of hoard prospects, you know, having 3 instead of 2, having 3 higher ones instead of a later one, I get it. I definitely do. And losing Bruce Brown in that process. But honestly, as much as I, you know, agree with the theory of this trade that you presented here of, you know, Bruce Brown and 31 for Bogdanovich and 24 and 25, I get that. Number one, I don't necessarily think it's a great deal for the Knicks, unless, of course, they're just desperate to get rid of those first round picks and, you know, maybe do a draft and stash on the second round pick, or, you know, a 2-way contract in the second round pick. But honestly, it's almost like customary at this point with those early second round picks that those guys get late first round type of guarantees, like a 3-year, 4-year contract. But nevertheless, you can negotiate that. There's no guarantees on a second round pick anyway. There's nothing in the CBA that says you have to guarantee that salary for more than 2 years. So, you know, you can do it. Jacob Cole saying, you know, this ends Monday night, right? No, I don't know that at all. Look, I have been very firm the entire way through. I'm going to ride this until until it's done. I believe in the Dallas Mavericks. I also believe in the Boston Celtics being a really, really good team, but I am very much of the belief that the Mavericks can come back into this. Laugh my fucking ass off. Okay. Yeah, absolutely. I don't care, bro. Like, that's the thing, right? Like, they had that fluke game. You're dumb. You know, like, people like you, honestly, like, I don't know, like, I can't stand Boston fans personally. That's one of the biggest reasons why I'm rooting against that team right now. Boston Celtics fans are the most annoying fans in probably all of basketball, partially because y'all are front runners. Like, you want to act like your team is so great and this is a fluke. Bro, are you fucking kidding me right now? You nearly lost by 50 points. How is that a fluke? No, you got decimated and dominated. And, you know, it looked like your all-stars could not score on Luka Doncic. That's crazy. In all likelihood, this series does end, you know, in game 5. But I don't know that, and neither do you. So, you know, stay humble, because we played flat. Oh, whoa, hold on. Jacob Cole, my bad. Oh, you got the name Jacob Cole. You must be Jaylen Brown. We played flat. My bad. Which one were you? Were you Jaylen Brown or Jason Tatum? Which one were you? Or were you? Oh, right. You were Peyton Pritchard. My bad. We played flat. Find a life, bro. Find a life. Get a life. All right. We're just going to ban your ass, because there is nothing to gain from this. Nah, we're going to be mature about this. We're not going to ban you. We're going to let you talk your shit. And honestly, look, man, I'm not a Celtics hater at all. I like Jason Tatum a lot. I've had criticisms with Jaylen Brown. Love Drew Holiday, right? Like, I love this team. Like, I do. I just think I've thought the Boston Celtics were going to win the championship pretty much the entire year, until like the last 5 games of the season, when I started thinking, nah, Dallas, Denver, I'm leaning towards that. And that's where I started thinking about that. And I haven't been able to shake this idea that this Dallas team is just really great, right? Um, Rob on timing, eh? I don't know. I mean, I was just talking shit, no hate. Alrighty. Yeah. I mean, look, it's obvious the Boston Celtics are the deeper team. They are a very talented team. They are a very, very good team. Games like this happen. Obviously, from Jason Tatum's remarks in the post game, he doesn't take it too seriously. And, they pulled the plug. They certainly could have fought back in the fourth quarter and tried to cut this down to 25, and maybe we feel a little bit better about it. But do we really feel better about it? I don't really care, Um, Nicholas saying I'm not a Celtics hater, just a Celtics fan hater. That's pretty much me. Yeah. Yeah, I don't mind the Celtics at all. I like the Celtics. But it's something about, I worked in Boston for a bit. The city itself is very nice, but it's something about the fans, man. I can't I can't. I can't with that fan base, bro. Like some of the shit they talk, but they act like they're this poverty franchise that is always like just persecuted against, and everyone's against them and stuff. And it's just like I get a lot of fan bases are like that. Toronto Raptor fans are like that sometimes too, but the Celtics fans bring it to a completely new level, man. Anyways, I'm outie. Good luck to the Dallas Mavericks in your goat saying I went to Toronto 1 month ago, by the way. That's nice. It's nice. That's good for you, bro. Yeah, I expect a very competitive game in Game 5. I'm not expecting a blowout in Game 5 at all. I'm not expecting the Boston Celtics to lay out an egg 2 games in a row. That would be crazy. But at the same time, I also don't expect the Dallas Mavericks to pull their foot off the gas. Like, I don't think this is a situation like the Minnesota Timberwolves where it was like, okay, we got one game, and boom, we're good. We're good to lose, No, I think Dallas really believes that they're gonna come back and win this. And I believe there's a full buy-in in that locker room of like, hey, we figured it out. And again, the mentality is it's first to 4, right? Ask yourself this question. No team has ever come back from 0-3, correct? Correct. Has a team ever come back from 0-1? Yes. Has a team ever won a series 4-1 after trailing by 1? Yes. How many teams have won 4 straight in an NBA playoff series? So many. The Toronto Raptors. I remember Toronto Raptors, they lost game 1 in 2019 against the Magic. They went on to win 4-1. So they won 4 straight, right? They lost the first 2 games against the Milwaukee Bucks, then they won 4 straight. You can win 4 straight. So the math on this is pretty, Boston hasn't lost 2 straight a lot this year. That's all. I don't think they lost 2 straight at all. Have they lost 2 straight at all? But hey, these things are meant to be broken. No team has ever come back from 0-3 until it happens. Boston hadn't lost a single game on the road the entire playoffs, and it just happened, right? These things happen. I think Luka hasn't played his best yet, and honestly, giving him 2 more days maybe to recover, I don't know. When that guy starts feeling better, I think you're going to see a completely different, Dallas Mavericks team. He has not been himself this entire series, in my opinion. Defensively, offensively, whatever. And I just want to say, like, some of the vitriol towards him, some of the hatred towards him, some of the shit that people said about him. I mean, Jason Kidd is right to be offended. And I'm glad Luka didn't hear it. But like, honestly, some of it is criminally overrated. These people are so desperate for ratings that they're willing to anoint a guy a king only to call him a bum like 2 weeks later. Like, what is this world that we are living in where we live and die with every single game? It was 3 games. He played reasonably well. He complained. Yes, he complained. He's immature sometimes. Yes, but it does not deny his greatness. It does not deny his greatness. That does not, you got people questioning whether he's really a top 5 player after 1 game. 1 game? Whoa, bro. It's crazy. Luka is for real. He's a really good player. And you know what? If you're a Boston Celtics fan, you better pray that he doesn't have one of those Luka games in Game 5, because you're cooked if he does. Because he is the type of player who can beat a team by himself. And as I said before, once that pressure starts to tighten, oh my God. Like, you're on the road, you're supposed to close out in 4, you let 1 go, you come back home, you let a second go. Now the media starts talking. Is this going to be the first team? Blah, 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 blah. momentum is shifting. You know, after 2 straight wins, momentum shifts in a series. Now you got to catch yourself, right? And now you're playing not to lose. Now you're trying not to be the team that loses a 3-0. You know what I mean? So Jacob Cole saying, I think KP will give it a go on Monday. I don't think that's going to make too much of a difference, to be honest with you. If Derek Lively continues to run the court the way he was, Daniel Gafford continues to run the way he was, if Dante Exum pushes the pace the way he is, they'll play him right off the court. The Dallas Mavericks played super slow in the first 2 games, and I think that it hurt them big time. You know, I said it before after Game 3. There's a world where Dallas is up 3-1 in this series. They really do. Raptors fans saying Boston wants to win it at home. Whew. Come on, man. Okay, sure. You know what? You can say that. I'm not even going to pretend that Dallas just was it. I'm not going to pretend that this win was all Dallas. Of course, a lot of this came down to Boston not competing, not boxing out, not closing out properly, not taking care of the basketball. A lot of what happened tonight was Boston shooting themselves in the foot. I get all of that. But I'm saying that you cannot discredit a team that just whooped a team by 48. You cannot discredit a team that was up 48 points in the finals and just say, oh, it was fluke, it was this, it was that. No. You can say Boston laid an egg, and you know what? If you believe that, great. But I'll tell you right now, there's no champion in NBA history that I can think of that would deliberately lose a game that was within their grasp in order to prolong winning one more game. Like, if you think they're that in control of this series, then power to you and power to them. But no team should ever do that. I watched lazy basketball tonight, but yeah, they kicked Boston's ass. It was more than lazy, man. It was demoralized. Like, I mean, it wasn't like Boston just didn't show up. You know, that was part of it. It was like they were trying to, and honestly, you can trace the way they played tonight. You can trace it back to Game 3. Towards the end of Game 3, they played like this too. A lot of me versus we type of basketball. A lot of 1 versus 5 basketball. And I just feel like that's a recipe for disaster because there's no player on Boston, you know, that is capable of doing that. You saw that play with Jason Tatum where, you know, he's attacking Kyrie Irving and the double doesn't come and Irving just draws a charge on him. Jaylen Brown, turnover. Drew Holiday a couple times, you know, where he's trying to attack Luka. Like, these guys are trying to, you know, they're trying to do this one-on-one thing, and it's just not Boston basketball. That's not how they've been successful. So, you know, we'll see. E-Trick saying Dallas in 7. That would be crazy. But, you know, stranger things have happened. And honestly, again, I say it, you know, every time. When you have the best player in the series, you will always, always have a chance. And you don't have to think of this like, oh, they got to win. They got to come back from 0-3. What you got to think about is they got to win a game, then they got to win another game, then they got to win another game, then they got to win another game. That's all. That's all you got to look at it as. And if you believe you're the better team, which the Dallas Mavericks clearly think they are the better team, they believe they're the better team, then all you have to do is go out and beat a team that you should beat 3 more times. That's it. 3. If I'm the Dallas Mavericks right now, all I'm saying is 3. And then after you win Game 5, I'm saying 2, right? And then after you win Game 6, I'm saying 1. You know, because once you get it to Game 6 on your home court, it's like a 50-50 type of series, right? Because the pressure is so immense, right? Like, pressure is everything in a series. And I just feel like all the pressure is on Boston right now. Everyone has already crowned them like the best team in the last 20 years, and they're so great. I heard Jason Timpf, talking about them like they're this great championship team, and they haven't even won. You know, they've never won, and they're calling them a great championship team. They're already saying they're better than the 2019 Raptors. I mean, my God. I mean, he even, like, the most outrageous thing I think I heard Jason Timpf say the other day, which I commented on as well, was he thinks that the 2020 Lakers team was better than the 2019 Raptors team. What? The Bucks team was better than the Raptors team? What? No. No. I have vivid memories of Drew Holiday missing like 4 layups, 35 points at halftime is ridiculous. Funny how 3-0 comebacks happens all the time in the NHL, but never happens in the NBA. Well, it doesn't happen all the time in the NHL. It's happened 4 times, I believe, in the NHL. It's happened once, at least, in Major League Baseball. So, yes, it can happen. And again, you say 0-3 has never happened, but 1-3 has happened. We are at 1-3. So, let's see. beating the Boston Celtics 3 times in a row is going to be really hard. Beating them 4 times in a row is going to be hard. But I believe the Dallas Mavericks can do it. So let's see. Let's see in game. Let's see y'all tomorrow for another live. Probably on guards in the 2024 draft. We'll talk about guards and the guards the Raptors could look at, or maybe wing defenders. Let me know in the comments below after this video goes live what you would like to see that video on. Another big shout out. Thank you so much to everybody who's contributed to this channel. Again, the likes, the super chats, the e-transfers, the Amazon gift list, all that stuff. I can't wait to put this studio together. Slowly but surely, we are putting it together. We're going to get a better camera. We're going to get all this stuff put together. We're going to get that championship banner behind me. It's all going to be great. And then by the time we get to the NBA draft in 2 weeks, we're going to be lit. And I'm going to get some sleep so I don't look like a zombie, okay? All right, talk to you later. Make sure to hit like on this video on your way out. There's 79 of you in here right now. Make sure to hit like on your way out, all right? Peace.